I threw this out at the end of 2022. I was like, oh yeah, I'm gonna stop wearing skinny jeans. Now I do this, I live this, I breathe this, right? My inbox is full of research on trends, on designers, on brands, and I'm seeing it left and right. When I'm in the thick of the feeling, I don't always know. And if I had like a blueprint or just a toolbox of like these three things, then I can try them and then I'm empowered. Hello, Style Nation. What's up? Back with another episode. And I know I say this every time. I am really excited for today's episode because it feels a little different to me. And I haven't done just a full-blown fucking style tips episode in a really long time. And today I'm going to bring you anti-skinny jeans, how to wear them, what body shape can pick what types of jeans. We'll talk about the shoes and how to style them and all the things. So I felt inspired to do this episode today on skinny jeans and leaving them behind to make fresher, newer choices. Because when I talk about skinny jeans, I feel like I was like, hey, I throw out this bomb of like, hey, fucking don't wear skinny jeans anymore. Or here's something I'm leaving behind in 2022. But I didn't really provide a solution on how to get there. And this happens a lot. And it's funny. It's happening currently in my personal life with something that we're going through with one of our kids. Is I was like, I get it. I hear all the things. I know where the things aren't happening. But what the fuck are the actual real solutions and details? Like a lot of times we throw out these big ideas like in mindset and styling and food, like you fucking name it. It's like, just do this and your life will be better. And you're like, good, I don't currently do that, which means I don't fucking know how to do it. Because if I knew how to do it and I knew that that thing could save me, maybe I'd be doing it. Maybe I wouldn't, because maybe I'm not prioritizing the time, energy, and effort. But sometimes when we are overwhelmed by the emotions, the tasks, like we just need the details. Like just give me the fucking blueprint. My best example of this, and I feel like I used to do this all the time, but my best example is like writing a resume. Can't tell someone who's never wrote a resume to sit down and be like, hey, write a resume. And you're like, well, what's a resume? You know, just all the good things you've ever accomplished in your life. We all know that so much more shit goes into writing a resume. You got to have your headline, and do you put your city and your state? Like, I don't know. I haven't done a resume in a really long time, but you know, you have your jobs, your most recent jobs, and all the bullet points. There's this whole format, this whole structure that's quote unquote the guidelines that we follow when we put together a resume. And I feel like that's what's missing a lot of times for me when people are like, do this. And I'm like, great, but how the fuck do I meditate? Like I Google the most random things. Like, how do I relax? Because when I'm in the thick of the feeling, I don't always know. And if I had like a blueprint or just a toolbox of like these three things, then I can try them. And then I'm empowered to experiment and really make it my own. But without that jumping off point, without that example of that resume, I can't start writing my own resume. So I want to say, I felt like I kind of did that to you guys. Like I threw this out at the end of 2022. I was like, oh yeah, I'm going to stop wearing skinny jeans. Now I do this, I live this, I breathe this, right? My inbox is full of research on trends, on designers, on brands, and I'm seeing it left and right. So for me, and it's my hobby, right? And my passion and my job. So I am real close to this and I want to play with it constantly. So for me, it was really easy to be like, okay, I'm going to toss out my skinny jeans, like as much as I love them, because that's my comfort zone. So I wanted to spend a whole episode kind of talking through that. I don't know how this will work. And I was questioning myself, why do I avoid like nitty gritty style tips on a podcast versus like concepts and theories? And I think a couple of things came up. One, because it's audio and I feel like it's so visual. Like, how can I tell you something without showing you? So I am going to send an accompany email for this. So if you're not on my email list, you should hop on it. Katie Just Styled. I'll put the links in the show notes, actually. But katiejuststyled.com/newsletter. You can get on the newsletter. I'm going to make a fun visual email that hopefully will turn into a blog. But it's not going to be a blog next week, but it will be an email. And that's because I'm working on launching the Style Squad. But this is the kind of resources I want to provide in the Style Squad, is really around that lifestyle. And when I'm solving a style problem for someone, I'm not just going to tell them the theory. I want to also provide the details. And those are the kind of resources I want people to have access into my community, whether it's style or whether I bring in a guest expert to talk to you about money or hormones or lifting weights or nutrition or self-hypnosis or whatever, astrology, whatever the things are that we are going to be talking about in the Style Squad. So I thought, well, shit, get your shit together and start doing it on the podcast. So after this episode, I would love for you guys to reach out to me however we connect on Instagram, email, Voxer, and let me know, was this helpful for you? Do you like kind of like the theory around things, talking about mindsets and habits? Or every now and then, do you want a really good in-depth, like, this body shape, shop these jeans? Like, we're about to go through that type of episode. I'd love to know. And in that same vein, I would love to say thank you to all of you guys who responded to my email that I sent last week or the week before, asking you what you want. This also was kind of spurred from that. I appreciate everyone who took the time to not just give me the yes or no, but to like actually write real sentences about what you want and what you need. I am so here for it. I'm so here for it. And special shout out to the person. It's anonymous, so I don't know, but if I had to guess, I think I know. So this was an anonymous survey that I sent out to my email list, but shout out to the person that said, can you end each episode telling people to stop wearing their fucking pajamas to the store? And I could only laugh out loud because I am that person. I love wearing my pajamas to the store because the store is the place, the grocery store is the place I hate going, but I accept your challenge. And in that same vein, I got a lot of other comments about work from home styles and how to feel really good when you're in casual clothes. So you don't look like a house gremlin, which is one of my favorite people uses that word to describe their like work from home look, as the house gremlin. So last Friday, I sent out a whole work from home with my secret weapons for polished casual and nailing that style, because that is my style. And when I get real honest, I've been nailing that since fucking 10th grade. Like, I sent on the email. It was super funny. Like, that's what the captain of our high school football team wrote in my yearbook. Like, I saw this yearbook at my mom's house and it was like, have a great summer. No one can rock a sweatsuit like you. And it was because that's something that I've always been into, is being really casual, being really comfortable, but also adding my own personality and flair to it. So let me know if these style tips are helping you guys, if you enjoyed today's episode. Yeah, because that's where we're going to show up, is how do we live our everyday lives and making sure that we're dressing for our lifestyles? Because I feel like oftentimes when people hear the word style, they only associate it with big events, speaking engagements, business owners, date nights, whatever, big events. But like your everyday style, I think it's so much more important because it's the everyday. That's when you're in it every day. I don't care about the birthday dinner. How the fuck do I eat every day, right? Because that's my main lifestyle. So I love it. I love it. I love it. Let's dive in to today's episode, all about anti-skinny jeans. And I know I threw out real quickly there about the Style Squad and providing resources like this and having hot styling live sessions like this in the community. If you're interested, you want to get on the wait list, Style Squad is going to open up on February 28th. It's a community that embraces everything that we do on this podcast. It's for everyone. It's a super accessible way to get access to experts and all the things that I'm currently most interested in. So money, wellness, astrology, personality, frameworks, like how to better understand yourself, build trust with yourself, and of course, style, and just how to feel amazing in the body you have right now. It's a lifestyle community for high-achieving women who want more. and aren't scared to say out loud, like, I want more out of my life and I want more out of my style. I choose happiness over conformity. Long pause because I wanted you to feel it. So if you're interested and you're ready to go, we're still a couple weeks out for the full launch with all the juicy bonuses, but you can get on the wait list. So you'll be the very first person to know. And I promise you, what I'm doing behind the scenes while we're waiting for this launch date is making it the best goddamn experience that I can come up with the knowledge that I currently have, and bringing in people, making it exciting, and making it like nothing that I think is out there. So I'm so excited about this. Hop on the wait list. If you're not on the wait list, it will be in the show notes. But Style Squad, Katie just styled back.com/squad. You can hop on that wait list. You can be the first to know when it opens. You can get VIP access to the squad going open. There might be some discounts in there. It's a $37 a month community membership, but there are going to be a bunch of goodies and giveaways and bonuses and all of the things when we go live. So go hop on that list if you're ready to squad up. All right. So you're allowed to wear skinny jeans and be in the squad, but if you're like me and you're ready to let the skinny jeans relax and have some time off because we've been wearing them every day for 10 years, let's dig in to what that really means. So I am going to keep it super simple. I'm going to go through the 5 major body shapes and talk about the goals of the body shapes and the jean silhouettes that are not skinny that I think work the best. And I want to preface this with that our body shapes, and I like the fruit body shapes. You might have heard like oval, rectangle, column, inverted triangle, hourglass, strawberry, apple, pear. I prefer the fruits because I just think fruits are cuter than shapes. And you guys know that, well, you might not know, but I'm constantly working on my relationship with food. It's not a place where inherently I don't open the refrigerator door and just like, oh my God, here's my dinner and I'm going to eat vegetables. Like I have to be so conscious about making sure that I am eating foods that are going to fuel me and not send me on my 3 p.m. sugar crash every day or change my mood and all the things. So I like fruit, except for the fucking hourglass. I don't have a fruit for that. Maybe it's like, I don't know. I can't think. I'm trying to think of 2 oranges on top of each other. I have no idea. Anyway, so we're going to go through that. We're going to talk about that. Those are the references I'm going to use. But the one thing I'm going to say is we're all a little bit of the fruit salad, right? So like you might identify as an hourglass shape, but as you have kids or you age or whatever, you might start to see other elements of other body shapes. So I would say historically, it was a really solid hourglass shape, right? Very balanced proportions, top and bottom, with a defined waist. But then as things changed, I feel like there's a little bit of the apple where I gain a little bit more weight in my stomach and my boobs. And so while that shape is still there and I still have that defined waist, I'm still accounting for a little bit of that apple-y, more robust top, a heavy shape. So I have to take both of those things into consideration. And then we have long torsos and short torsos and flat booties and round booties and all of the booties. So take this for what it's worth, but I think it's a really good place to get started. And if you have very specific body shape questions, you can hit me up on Insta. I'm a DM or an email away, right? All of that contact information is in the show notes every single week. So let's pop in and then we'll talk about like how to style these a little bit, because I think the biggest challenge with the anti-skinny jean is not what body shape and what jeans to buy, but also like how the fuck do we style them? Because now, do I show my ankle? Do I not show my ankle? What shoes do I get? Blah, blah, blah. So I'm just going to go through some tried and true like outfit formulas that I think you can just really start to get curious with and experiment with. So body shape 1, we'll start with the hourglass because hourglass is the most balanced, proportionate body shape. And historically, that's been the quote unquote coveted body shape. But the reason it's quote unquote the coveted body shape is because it's the most balanced and our eye is constantly looking for balance. So take this off of your body and imagine your home, right? And imagine the feng shui of your living room. And you don't want all the furniture on one side of the room and the other side being bare, right? So we're just constantly looking for that balance. So with the hourglass shape, when you're buying new jeans or any clothes for that matter, the thing you have to consider is that you're keeping that balance, that you're keeping the hips and the shoulders balanced, and that if you're putting flares on the bottom, that you're not now shifting all of your proportions down. And you want to always consider your waist. If you feel like every time you put on a sweater or a shift dress that it looks horrible on you, then chances are you have some hourglass shape to you. Like when your best outfits are outfits that highlight your waist, which are in most body shapes, there is a little bit of hourglass going on there. And then the one thing with the hourglass is a lot of times because of that shapely hourglass figure, we have to make sure that we're not making the bust look too big as well, and when we're keeping those proportions. So that being said, anti-skinny jeans actually work really well on hourglass shapes because we do have to consider that bust a lot of times. So flares, boot cuts, and wide legs are go-tos, easy, breezy go-tos. I would say flares and boot cuts are my preference as someone who has the hourglass shape. But the one thing that you want to consider here is if you're 5'4" or under. I attract a lot of 5'4" and under, which is technically petite. That's where I hit myself. I also have a long torso, so my legs are really short. So it's another consideration point. Is if you are looking for flare, boot cut, or wide leg, you're going to want to look for cropped styles. You're going to want to look for cropped styles that don't drown the bottom of your legs, because then it's probably not going to look as chic as you want it to look. And you're going to have a harder time finding the styles that you actually vibe with. Then we're going to talk about wide legs and their downfall as well when we get a little further down. All right, so let's hop over to our pairs, our inverted triangles. This body shape is a body shape where you might wear a smaller top size on the top than you would on your bottom. So like if you were buying a matching set, you might buy a large sweatshirt and an extra large or even a double extra large pants, right? You tend to carry your weight in your hips or your booty, and that's the shape that we're looking to focus on balancing up your shoulders on. So if you identify as a pear shape, maybe the inverted triangle or cake by the pound, because also I'm like, forget triangle. It kind of looks like a piece of cake to me, but so does any triangle, whether it's inverted or not. Or I guess that's technically the triangle shape, not the inverted triangle shape. I apologize. See, math's not my thing. So like that whole geometry, the base of the triangle thing, not my favorites, but it applies here in style. So we'll get there. So the pear, right? Thicker on the bottom, smaller on the top. Your goal here is balancing up your shoulders, always considering your waist, and elongating your legs, because you want to elongate your legs and draw the eye up. So again, flare and boot cuts are your best friend. If you have a pear shape, I think you look amazing in flares. Flares just are going to do you wonders. I think flares are actually, out of all of the anti-skinny jeans, are my number one choice for most women, especially if you're under 5'4" or you're not at the ideal body weight that you feel is your happy weight. And I'll tell you why. Flares are not wide legs. Flares fit and are fitted all the way through the thighs, all the way to the knee, and they do not begin to flare until you get below the knee. So you have very fitted through the hips and the thighs, which breaks up that part of the body, right? We're creating the length, the vertical, which is what we're going for. And in my opinion, it looks more shapely on women, like I said, 5'4" and under, that don't feel like they're at their ideal body weight. Wide legs, and my problem with wide legs, and I'm not saying that they don't look good on pairs, they absolutely can. My pair ladies, one of the biggest complaints that we have is, I say we, I wish it was me, it's not, is finding pants that fit the booty but then don't gap on the waist. And flares, and I have no booty, and we will talk about flat booties when we get down to strawberries. Um, I feel like wide leg jeans, because they widen, they're only tight around just your upper hip area and then they flare from the bottom of the pelvis down, just tend to flatten the booty, right? Depending on the brand, but I feel like they really flatten the booty or they gap really bad. So that's why wide legs, traditional wide legs, think like Jankos from the 90s or maybe, yeah, 90s, 8th grade, is not my preferred style that I would jump straight from a skinny jean to that. Now, Good American, Madewell Curve are two brands that I consistently recommend and pull for clients that tend to work really, really well. DL 1961 is another really, really good denim brand if you're looking for jeans that are made for curvy bottoms and smaller waists. All right. Anti-skinny jeans for the rhubards. The rhubarb is the column, the rectangle, where your hips and shoulders are equal widths apart, but you don't really have a defined waist. You might feel like stocky is a one word that you can use to define that. You might feel like you have more of a masculine shape. I've worked with a couple women that are very intent on not making their shape feel more masculine than it really is, tend to have short waists if they're shorter, and then if they're longer, they still have a little bit more of a shorter waist with the longer legs. So wide leg jeans actually can work really well for this body shape when you're doing the wide leg or any of the anti-skinny jeans. Especially for this shape, though, what we really want to do is we don't want them to be drowning in fabric. So we want to, if we're going wider on the bottom, to do something opposite on the top of this body shape, right? So we want a tighter top. And this, I personally apply that to almost all of the body shapes, but maybe not so much when we get into like apple or strawberries, but especially for the hourglass, the pear, and the rhubarb. Like, I love to do that juxtaposition of like if it's tighter, I mean looser on the bottom, that the shirt is a little bit more fitted on the top. Very 90s. So wide leg jeans are amazing. I think are really great for this body shape. Flares again, but what I think really styles that really show up here that doesn't show up for me, and again, this is my personal experience with my clients and myself, is straight leg. I think this is the body shape, especially the tall rhubarb, that can really pull off a pair of straight leg jeans. Straight legs are a little bit more fitted on your thighs, but they start to flare above the knee. So where the actual true flare jeans don't flare until you get below the knee, straight legs are more fitted on your thighs, and then they cut out right above the knee. Boyfriend style, I think also is really cute for this body shape too. Boyfriend style is just a little bit more baggy all over. So our taller, leaner rhubarb shapes, boyfriend style with a pair of heels, you're killing it. But we'll talk about that. Like I said, I've grown in to an apple over the last couple of years. So I really start to understand some of the considerations here as I've gained a little bit more weight in my tummy. So the apple shape can also be considered the oval shape if you're doing the shapes instead of the fruit shapes, meaning that you gain and carry a lot of your weight in your upper arms, your chest, and your torso. So the goal with this body shape is to break up the torso with vertical lines and diagonal lines. They're your best friends. V-necks, all those kind of fun things. Show off the legs. So that's what we want to do with our jeans. So flares, yes, I think flares are cute. We can always make them work with the right shoe, but maybe you want to start with a boot cut or a mini flare or a straight leg, cropped if you're under 5'4", and definitely want to get some height on these jean styles if you're under 5'4", to balance out some of the weight that you're carrying on your upper body. And you might even consider a boyfriend jean that is rolled up, highlights the ankle with a really, really cute pair of shoes. Apples, we want to choose mid-rise, which is really, really popular right now. So the high-rise jeans are coming down a little bit. So mid-rise is probably your best bet. In my experience, myself included, not really comfortable with the low rises, but the high rises, you can feel like it's putting on display a little bit more of the torso area. So mid-rises can be a really good fit. But what's fun here with the apple shape is because we are showing off the legs and we're working on breaking out that torso and bringing and drawing the eye down and lengthening the body, is that we get to play with different colors. So this is where you want to lead into some of your lighter colors and maybe a fun distressing or a fun embellishment on your pants. I know we've been saying jeans, but it could be one of my clients has a beautiful pair of light purple leather pants, lavender leather pants, or something really, really fun like that. Next up, strawberry. So this is our inverted triangle shape. I'm so sorry for my pears. So this is our other piece of cake, right? Our strawberry shape is you have really strong shoulders, comes into the waist, and then you're don't have as much hip volume. You might have a booty, but when I'm looking at you from the front, you have a little bit of the strawberry shape where really defined shoulders and we V in to that defined waist. So our goal here with this body shape is to soften the shoulders, add a little volume to the hip, and make sure that if we're adding volume to the hip that we're showing off the waist. So for this one, like all the other brands, honestly, flares were made for you. And boot cut is also super cute. Joggers, also super cute, which are, in my opinion, anti-skinny. Yes, they're skinny around the ankles, but they tend to look better because the tight ankle and the tight waist on jogger style pants, when it's real cinched in the waist, tends to add that little pop that we're looking for on the hips. So while we're focused on jeans and pants in this episode, same applies for dresses and skirts as well. So if you're tall, slim strawberry, wide leg can also work really well here. Same with the rhubarb. But this is where I want to have that flat booty conversation. I personally feel like wide legs make the booties look flatter than they really are, or they tend to fit tighter around the butt, gap more in the back. Believe me, I've never owned a pair of jeans that have gapped on my ass because I don't have one until I tried wide legs. Now they're cute. I will wear them with a belt and cinch them in as needed because it doesn't gap it that much. But I know it's a styling consideration for the person who's already struggling with the gap in the back. So let's talk about flat booties for a moment. So we're talking about these jeans. We're out buying jeans. I think flares do a really good job at rounding booties. But even so, those of us that have the square, flat booties, yes, like our butts were made for Lee jeans, for Lee mom jeans, it can get really frustrating. And it's a body consideration that comes up more and more. And having a cute little peachy butt is like all the thing right now. And it's interesting how body shapes even trend through and have different, as the times change, different body shapes become more and more in the limelight. So for those of us that are sitting over here without that cute little pear booty, you're like, I want a booty. And I personally feel like it would add a little bit of balance to my shape sometimes. Instead of these big old knackers and my high necks making them look like they're even bigger than they are, like I might fall forward, right? Anyways, sorry, I love some self-deprecating humor. It's my jam. But flat booty, here are my hot tips for anyone that's listening that's like, yeah, these jeans are great, but I love my skinnies because of XYZ. Let's talk about flat booties. So here are like my 5 go-tos that I consider every time when I'm buying jeans or styling outfits. And sometimes I just say, fuck it, and I just do it. Like I have a dress that there's no way around the booty really. And I'm like, I love this dress so much that my ass will just have to be okay. So if you're really concerned about it and you're looking, peplum style tops. So tops, peplum, they're fitted all the way through. And so you get closer to a natural waistline and then they flare out. They usually hang a little bit over the hips, cutting the top of the glute. So you have just a little bit of that under round booty, which gives you that little juice, that little peach that you're looking for. And that's really the next tip is if you're wearing a shirt, and this is why I'm a queen of French tucking, I will French tuck my shirt to highlight create my waist. But when I French tuck my shirt, it hangs in the back and that allows me to cut that square booty right in half, and you can only see the inner part where it curves a little bit, and it gives my booty an instant fucking lift. It's like a lift without lifting. My next favorite tip, my absolute favorite thing to pay attention to when I'm dressing for that flat booty is happy pockets. So happy pockets are those pockets that sit high and close, and they give you that perfect little perky look that you're looking for, right? They just lift the booty like we were talking about earlier. And also, what can also do this for you is pockets on jeans that have a little bit of embellishment. So think about buttons, flaps, a really good pocket design. Kind of, you know how like Levi's does the deep V on the back of it? It's very much adds to the booty and gives you a little bit of a pop. So I feel like that was a ton of information. I have so many more notes on how to style these jeans and what to wear them with and what to pair them with. But I feel really called to do that visually. So I'm going to include that in the email around what jeans match what body types. And then I will showcase some shoe styles that support that and share with you guys a fun little lookbook. Yeah, I hope that this helped. I appreciate all the feedback that everyone sent me in that email about what you guys are looking for, what you need in your life. And you have to let me know if this anti-skinny jean vlog, is it even a vlog? Just fucking call it a podcast really helped you start to see how and where you can experiment with your flares and your boot cuts and maybe your straights or your wide legs to make it work for you. And again, no matter what, we can style to our body shape all the time. If you personally don't like any of these styles, we'll style around those. And this doesn't mean that you can't keep wearing your skinny jeans. Skinny jeans are a classic style. They just aren't going to be the pant that we pull all the time. That's what trends are for, right? To switch things up, mix it up. We grow and we learn and we evolve. And don't save them for when they come back in style, because you'll be a whole new woman and there'll be some funky, fresh new detail, some funky button fly that you want the next time around. Keep your classic pairs that are tried and true, that still hold up great, that maybe they look great with that blazer or whatever that is. And then the rest of them you can start to let go and start investing in some fun new styles and experiments. So I'm super excited. I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. It was really fun. Let me know if you want more episodes like this where we really get into the details and the nitty-gritty, the specifics on body shape and exactly what styles to get for them. I will add some style tips in the email so you can get on the email newsletter list, katiejuststyled.com/newsletter, and you will be added. I send out newsletters a couple times a week. I have a goal to absolutely want to start doing what I'm going to call Fashion Fridays, where I'm really leaning into some of the style tips based on the feedback that I got from everyone that did send out, that did reply to my survey that I sent out. Thank you so much. I'm super, super grateful. And if you're ready to squad up and be part of the Style Squad and have these conversations regularly with your own personalized app off of social media, this isn't a private Facebook group. This is a dedicated Style Squad community app called Heartbeat that we are going to use. So you don't have to get on social media. You don't have to do anything. And we get to share all of this. We get to share our resources. We get to support each other through everything as we get to create these lifestyles that we know that we deserve and that we're allowed to want more from. All right, I will see you and your beautiful smile on the flip side.